Welcome to NSR Talks, and today we're going to be discussing don't quit your job until you're ready to take off. Now, I see a lot of people on YouTube and online saying, I'm going to quit my job because I hate this job. I'm going to quit my job and start my YouTube. I'm going to quit my job and do social media full time. I'm going to quit my job and do good work. That's great. You know, I'm not telling you don't go after your dreams. That's a great thing to have that mindset that you want to break away from the system and start your own thing. But you got to make sure that you're ready to take off, you know. Don't just quit your job in the middle of a crisis just because you feel that you don't like your job or you feel tired or you feel like you don't like your boss or whatever. Before you do any of that, make sure you have a plan B. Make sure you have some sense of financial literacy, like you know how to budget, you know what your bills are, you know you have an emergency fund, you have investments. Make sure that you have something to where if you leave that job, nothing will be wrong with you, like nothing will happen to you. Because a lot of people, they quit their job and then they end up on the streets, they end up homeless because they had this motivation, I'm going to quit my job and do this full time, and then people fall off because what you don't realize is actually easier to have a job than it is to do your own thing, because when you're doing your own thing, it's all on you. All the taxes are on you, all the budgeting is on you, everything is on you, the work ethic, the schedule, everything. So if you're not ready, if you're not the type of person that can really go hard and really manage your time and manage your money, I would recommend don't quit your job until you're ready. You know, learn some financial literacy, build up savings, figure out what your budget is, figure out how much you pay for bills, figure out how much you pay for food, figure out what your phone bill, figure out everything first. Don't make an impulsive decision just because you're mad, just because you're tired. We're all tired, you know. Yes, the 9-to-5 grind is hard. Yes, it's a grind, you know. But that job is a blessing in disguise, because with the job, you know, they give you a schedule. You come in, you do your time, and you get your money. You know you have a stable paycheck. You know exactly what you're gonna make. If you want to do overtime, you can do overtime, and they can give you extra money. And I think that's a great thing for somebody who's trying to, you know, eventually build their own thing on the side. But don't be too hasty. You know, don't be too quick. Everything takes time. Make sure that you just wait and do it when the time is right. You know what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of YouTubers saying quit your job and live your own life and be free. Yeah, that's great, but make sure that you're not making any hostile decisions that's going to end up putting you in a worse position than you were when you had a good job. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing wrong with a 9-to-5. A lot of people, they want to tell you, 9-to-5, you're a slave. No, you're not a slave. You're not a slave. You're getting paid. Slaves work for free. Slaves don't get paid. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a job, keep that job. Your job is a blessing. Keep your job until you're ready to take off. You know what I'm saying? Like, be building your empire on the side while you're at your job, and make sure that you have a good plan for when you do quit your job, and make sure that you're making a certain amount of money that's going to sustain you when you do leave your job, because being an entrepreneur is not a game. You know, you're really on the front lines. You're really battling. Every day's a fight. You know what I'm saying? But if you love what you do, you'll be able to fight to the end. So make sure, if you are doing something on the side, make sure you really love it. You know, make sure that you can do this forever without seeing a single dollar. Because once you get into that mindset, then that's when it's just going to become easy and everything's going to flow. And then the money's just going to start coming out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, keep that job, keep the money flowing, use the job as a stepping stone, invest it into your business, invest it into skills that's going to get you better content, that's going to get you better things that you know how to do. Because if you invest into yourself, yourself is your best investment. You know what I mean? So invest into yourself, use that money from the job, invest it into yourself, invest it into your emergency fund, put it into maybe some index funds. I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what I do, you know, and just keep building it up and stacking it up. And on the side, keep building your business, keep building your YouTube, keep building your TikTok, whatever you're building on the side. Don't get so caught up in the 9-to-5 that you don't, you know, use none of your energy and exert it to your own thing. Because a lot of people, they get in a 9-to-5, and the reason why they feel so stuck and they feel so tired is because they're not building nothing on the side. So they don't have no vision of anything outside of the job. So they feel like they're stuck. No, you're not stuck. The job is a stepping stone so that you can do what you really want to do in maybe 5 years, 10 years. And a lot of people, they don't want to think long term, you know. When you're doing anything online, entrepreneurship, whatever, content, give yourself 5 to 10 years for it to take off. So if you have to stay at that job for 5 to 10 years, while you're at that job, stack that money to the ceiling. Stack everything up to the ceiling. And then when you're ready to take off, boom, you could take off. But don't take off when you're not ready, because then you're going to end up in a worse position than you were when you were at the job. I don't care if you're working at McDonald's. I don't care if you're working at Jack in the Box. Keep that job until you're ready to take off. This has been NSR Talks. Thank you guys for coming through.